Hello and welcome to Just a Moment. My name is Kristen Harding and my guest today is Aurora the Empath. Say hello, Aurora.
Hello, everyone. I'm
Look at
outside
that.
today, so it might be a little shaky or windy. Just let me know.
Look at that view. Isn't it beautiful? And you are just enveloped in a sunbeam, so it's just gorgeous. But yes, we will. If I hear something off, or if Paul hears something off, he'll certainly let us know. But
Okay.
we are actually pre-recording, so we won't have the immediate feedback, but
Mhm.
I will still be watching the comments when it goes live at 4:20 CST. So thank you everyone for joining us, and let's get started. So I like to begin with doing little blessing cards. Oh, yay. And I asked Aurora if it would be all right. And together we selected today's card. I asked her, I made three piles before I shuffled them. Well, after I shuffled them, rather. And then I asked her to pick which pile. And so what came up today is this beautiful A Blessing on a Journey. And here's the card. And so what it says, a blessing on your time away from home and on the road. A blessing on the in-between and the liminal space, the borderlands that you will inhabit. And how about inhabit? I like that better. May the road you take be blessed as you begin this journey into the unknown. For while you may have plans and a map and a compass to guide you, there is much that will surprise and amaze you. May the leaving of home be done with ease, knowing it will be safe until you return to its shelter once more. May you experience the joy of anticipation. Let the moment of embarkation be a great thrill when you take flight, or board ship, or car, or whatever vehicle it is that will see you safely across the miles. Let there be elation. May you encounter kindness upon the road, strangers who show the very best of themselves. Oh, there we go. And may there be hospitality and delightful turns of good luck. Serendipitous meetings and quiet moments too, so you can fully absorb the adventures of each day. May the adventurous spirit within you be delighted by your wanderings, and may you relish to the full each day upon the strange road you are traveling. May the purpose of the journey be blessed, whether you leave excited or reluctant. May whatever trip it is that you take be fulfilled in its spirit, and may the days fill themselves with future memories that will feed your soul for years. May the skies shine down on you. May the plans you made be exceeded in their reality. May all go more than well for you. And when it comes time to return home, traveler, may your home open its arms up and take you in, and may there be friends with whom to tell the tales of the road and share the gifts you have returned with. Arrive home safely, enriched with discovery, inspired and open-hearted and full of love for this world we dwell within. For it is wondrous, and this you have found to be the truth. Blessed be.
Blessed be.
This is why I love these cards. They're so positive and joy-filled, you know?
They are. Uplifting is all we need anymore. There's too much negative vibrations in the world, and we need to raise ours to compensate for that.
Exactly. Just hold the frequency of hope. You know,
Hmm.
it's easier said than done sometimes, but even Pandora left that little bit of hope left in the box, you know. And
Hmm.
when she let it out, everything changed.
Yeah.
So speaking of Pandora, you had a really cool conversation. Um, and just the subject of it was like, oh my goodness. So the conversation we had prior to the show, let's go back to that and talk a bit about it.
Would we be talking about the antediluvians?
We would, and
Oh,
who they were, and how they interbred, and yeah,
well,
so let's call it alternative history. So we're not stating this actually happened. We're
it's a
saying
possibility.
what if,
Mm-hmm.
right? So for
Mm-hmm.
entertainment purposes only,
Of course.
pray continue.
Let's start with who the antediluvians are.
Oh,
Antediluvians are anyone who lived before the flood, the big flood, the worldwide flood that every culture has a record of.
yes,
I, in my mind, I think it makes sense that before the flood, all that water was trapped up in the firmament, and it
yep,
gave us more of a barrier of the solar radiation that causes us to age.
yeah,
I think that's, and it also allowed more oxygen in the air, which allowed everything to grow bigger, including humans, and live longer, including humans. And when the flood happened and the barrier thinned, everything got smaller, even our lifespans. Well, there were survivors, there's known documented survivors, and there are unknown undocumented survivors that we also know happened because Ham found a wife. Um, the
and so did Cain.
uh the ark is said to have rested on top of a mountain, and these survivors would have been larger. They would have had the longer lifespan, almost 1,000 years, and they would have knowledge and possibly tech from the before time.
Right,
Now, anyone who smaller lifespan, smaller body, live below would look up and think they're gods.
yeah,
Could that be Mount Olympus
right,
and Zeus and
right,
Hera and the gods from around the planet that are all so similar, lived so long, but they're not around anymore
right.
because they weren't immortal. They just had a longer lifespan. But to a normal human, 1,000-year lifespan,
That is
that's
immortality.
immortal.
Yeah, that would be literally what, 7 generations,
At least, depending on how violent and warlike times were.
right? Because you were lucky back then to live to 30 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
And women bred early. They were married off before they were fully matured.
right. So that, well, my understanding is that so that they could incorporate their life into the family so that they could be a
Mm-hmm.
productive part of it. And I know that that wasn't, always the case. Sometimes it was because it was profitable, for the families to do so. But
There were
yeah,
many reasons, some honorable, some not, but it's the same in every culture, even today. Some honorable, some not.
right, right. Well, that's fascinating to me because in my lineage, in my genealogy,
Mm-hmm.
my line started with Rolla the Viking, and it's been proven. My sister did the genealogy thing. I'm too chicken, even though I have one. I just haven't sent it in yet. But yeah, he when he invaded Normandy, he took to wife Papa de Bayou. And when I saw Bayou, I was like the Bayou Tapestry, but no, because it was a different time. The Bayou
Mm-hmm.
Tapestry was later, but same
Right.
place, different
Mm-hmm.
different time. Anyway, so I knew that I had seen that name before
Mm-hmm.
and more connected it. And when I was in high school, I was just drawn to speaking French. And I had a choice of Latin and German and Spanish, but I chose French.
Mm-hmm.
So, genetic memory much? But yeah, she married Rollo the Viking, and Rollo the Viking was apparently One of his nicknames was Rollo the Walker because he was so big he could not sit on a horse.
Yeah, Rollo the Giant.
Yeah.
Yes, he was a giant. And to be fair, we don't know unless they give actual dimensions, because the average size of normal humans changes over time. What
Yes.
could be considered a giant in one culture could be average or even short in another,
Right.
depending on their food source, depending on a lot of things.
Well,
Um,
and nature adapts us to our
mhm,
environment.
mhm,
So it makes sense that in those colder climates, they would need more muscle mass. They would need more body weight. They would need, you know, lighter skin and lighter hair because it would absorb the sun quicker because there wasn't a lot of sun.
mhm, mhm. And that's one of the reasons that redheads make their own vitamin D. We make our own vitamin D because we have to stay out of the sun as much as possible. It does damage us. We don't have the um, pigment cells in our skin to do anything except freckle. And
Wow.
freckle doesn't protect. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
No. I call freckles angel kisses, but I think they're adorable. But I do not tan. I turn pink
Mhm,
and then I turn pale again.
mhm.
So yeah,
I burn
it's
the peel and
adorable.
freckle.
Yeah, I wish I even tried a tanning bed. You know, you go uh, a little bit at a time, and then you build up to a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. I got maybe a little bit golden, but other than that, nah. So I
No,
just stay out of the sun now,
you have too much of the ginger gene to be doing that kind of thing. Woman,
right?
you need to be slathering aloe every day.
Well, pretty much. And to show you, the part that is not white is still kind of strawberry blonde.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and
I can tell by your features.
people are always like, "Oh, your hair is so cool. Who does it for you?" I'm like, nature.
God.
And it's such a joke because I used to color my hair all the time.
Mhm.
Now I don't even bother. But yes, let's talk about more alternative history. Um, Question that's been on my mind lately.
Yes.
Why don't we know what really happened?
Um, well, because we're not meant to be living the way that we're living, and the only way that we would accept that is to be forced to forget how it was before. And that was done with public education, insane asylums, and television.
Yes.
Um, all of a sudden, every kid at a certain age had to go to a public institution and be all be taught the same thing. And I won't say who designed that initial system, but anybody interested can go look it up. That was not intended to benefit the American people. That was intended to create an
Factory workers.
unthinking worker class with no
Yep.
comprehension skills, no memory of their culture, no memory that some things are freely provided by the planet Earth and do not need to be charged for and paid for.
You mean like Tesla and electricity?
I mean, like Tartaria and their domes that
Well,
caught it from the ether.
good, let's talk about that because I believe that he simply resurrected their
Hmm.
technology.
Yeah,
And we were chatting the other day about the mirrors prior to 1886 or 96. I can't remember
96.
the thing. 96. Yes, right. 18, let's say late 1800s, just because I'm not
Yes.
100% on the day.
Yeah.
But there was an image that you would be able to see that was like
Burned in.
permanently, burned into this mirror, and you could only see it at certain times of day. Other than that, it was a perfectly normal mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And so they did a study, and they did they tested all the mirrors that they could find, and 11 of them showed this image. And when I described it to you, you immediately said what I said, which was ancient Tartaria,
Yeah.
because it had the beautiful domed buildings, it had marble structures, it had wide galleries, it had fountains. It
Mm-hmm.
was beautiful. And that's what was burned in the image that was burned into these mirrors.
I believe I know how it got burned into the mirrors.
Tell me, tell me, tell me.
The large mirrors, I believe, were transportation devices. The smaller mirrors, possibly communication devices.
I like that.
And when the destruction of Tartaria Prime happened, it was so electrically violent that it burned that image into all of the connected portals at the time. Anyone possibly using the frequency at the time on their little handhelds. And sort of like why we have screensavers, because that image will get burned into your monitor.
Right?
Similar concept, a little bit different tech.
Right. Well, the idea that those mirrors, well, and the fireplaces that we see, the huge ones, they were not meant for fires. They were meant for transportation devices. Am I wrong?
Transportation devices, heating elements, we have no idea what they were able to do because it's been all erased. However, there is a certain foreign leader who has discovered mass quantities of notes and evidence and artifacts, and he's slowly releasing them.
Cool.
Don't think he hasn't fully used them first.
Well,
Okay.
there's a rumor too that the Trump family has a Palantir,
Mhm.
and the Looking Glass event, that they are able to look into the future, and that's why they are able to do some of the things they do with the outcomes they have.
That's one of the reasons that I really don't worry too much about what he's doing, because I mean, the man could be on a beach somewhere, surrounded by beautiful paid women, drinking, relaxing, living his best life. And
Yes,
what is he doing? He
he's
is making
helping.
himself a target for everybody to help save America,
Yeah,
this country, and these people. He's not going, I know he's using that. So he's not going to make a move that's going to end up in our destruction. Every
right.
move he makes has a reason. And I don't have all the information he does. And
Right.
I trust the man. I'm not saying he's an idol. I'm not saying I would, kiss his feet, but I don't see anything malicious about anything he has
Exactly.
done or anything he
Exactly.
is doing.
He has a terribly difficult job trying to alchemize all the darkness
Hmm.
that has built up in the quote unquote swamp for years. And anyone willing to take on that challenge, I have to support
Shall
energetically, energetically, if not else, because he's doing the work. He, like you said, he could be living his best life. He could be saying to
we,
everyone, you know, that
out
is
of the public
in,
eye,
mhm,
enjoying his money,
right?
and
But he
and
chose,
you,
he
you
chose
want
to
to go
try.
a little more alternative?
Yeah.
There's this theory I have been noticing popping up recently
Okay.
that we have a straight Pleiadian who has been assisting in politics in the royal family for a long time, and she has played many roles. The most recent two roles were Princess Diana and
Uh-huh. And
Melania.
Melania. I knew you were going there. I have been saying Melania is Pleiadian for about 7 or 8 years.
And if she is the same, or perhaps a dynasty,
Well, you
Baron's
know,
going to be one hell of an ambassador.
right. Well, here's the thing. If Lady Diana did survive, and if uh, Melania is her, I'm happy. You know why? Because the life that she left would have dimmed her light, but this is where she needed to be now.
She needed to influence the royal family over there,
Yeah.
and then the royal family over here.
Yes. So
And
I hope it's
when
true.
they find out they're brothers, it's going to be interesting.
Brothers with whom?
King William and Baron Trump. If the
Oh,
truth ever comes out that they have the same mother.
that is so cool. Yeah, that would be.
Wouldn't that be a switch?
Yeah. Well, again, we're doing alternative history here. We are not saying that this is reality. We're saying, what if? So
And
that
on that same subject, what if didn't Diana have a Middle Eastern boyfriend
yes,
in the royal family? The Middle Eastern royal family?
I'm pretty sure he was well connected. Yes.
3 brothers?
There you go.
And she came from Russia. Could there be another?
Right. It's going to be fascinating to find out.
Oh, there is a book to be written right there.
Right. Did I tell you that I've been reading Guy Anderson's? It's basically a dictionary. And when I don't have a guest, I've been doing this, which is conspiracy theories by Guy Anderson. And one of them that he goes into is the possibility that Trump has the looking glass and, has told Barron all the stuff that's necessary and that Barron will be a future president. And, it's
Time
just
traveler.
really cool. Time travel?
Time traveler. Yeah. He'll be a future time traveler.
Oh, absolutely. And I believe that that's possible. But then again, I'm one of those people that I don't believe time is linear. I believe that we have past lives because we are living those lives at the same time.
In different dimensions?
In different dimensions, yes. I had someone from my last show tell me that superimposed over my current existence, they can clearly see my Egyptian lifetime. And I'm thinking to myself, is that because I am currently living them both at the same time? I know it's one of those things that makes your head spin, but just think about that for a minute.
That actually makes a whole lot of sense. If God can fracture itself and experience existence through us,
right?
Why would that fracturing and experience be limited to only our existence here? It wouldn't be.
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't be. And as such a being, it could all, our entire existence and all of the other dimensions could be, from that individual's perspective, just the time to have a thought.
Yeah.
But like bacteria, with the time differential that we experience, we're living generations, and
right?
that creature hasn't even blinked its eye once.
Exactly.
Like Leviathan.
Well, I was thinking that, and I went to Never Ending Story in the Turtle. I am allergic. What are you allergic to? To you! Because he had spent so many years not doing anything that he had become rooted to the ground and become a mountain.
Yeah.
but then we find out it's the turtle. Ah. So where else do you want to go? I love pre-Diluvian, um, because that is when the time, to me, that
Hmm.
is the time when mankind walked with the angels, whether they be fallen or not, but they walked with them.
And they
And
also
that,
say that man could walk across the earth in days. Doesn't that imply that man was very large and perhaps Pangea? Or
well,
there's another theory that says the earth is expanding, so back in their times it would have been smaller and there wouldn't have been oceans. Everything, that all would have been below. And
that makes sense.
as it expands, then the oceans were exposed.
Well, if I understand it right, the Great Lakes once covered more than they do now.
Um,
And go ahead.
as I understand it, the Great Lakes, at least one of them is man-made. In the
Okay.
old in the old maps, you don't see the Great Lakes, but you do see lakes in Arizona and California, big
Yes.
ones. And if you look beneath the Great Lakes, you will find the infrastructures that they were trying to hide that are flooded, because as the water levels drop, people are starting to see things poking out, and you can see things down there. And there's a whole town, there's a church, there's probably things that they couldn't quite destroy, so they said, flood it.
Well, there is a belief that Arizona and the Grand Canyon are actually ancient Egypt.
Hmm.
So, with, I think it's Lake Mead, with the water level going down and all of these things being discovered,
Hmm.
and they're discovering ancient Egyptian artifacts. When when are we going to demand to know the truth? You know?
When people, here's the problem, all right? People, a lot of people are very well aware that we live in a spiritual world. However, survival is a priority, and no one really has time to do anything but work, shop,
Yeah.
take care of the kids, pay the bills, work, fix the car, clean the house, all the work, work, work. And no one really has the time or the energy to do extra right
Right.
now. And that's by design, of course. If
Right.
we can't get off of our tablets, we can't get off of our phones, we can't get off of our televisions. There are children who cannot speak except through text. There are adults who have no social skills because everything that they learned was from a screen, and they could pause it if they wanted to if it upset them. You can't do that in real life.
No. And there are no trophies
That's right.
for surviving life, unfortunately. You know, you don't get a participation trophy, you just get to exist. And that is going to be a difficult lesson for them to learn. There's so many lessons that are not being taught.
They're
And
being so coddled.
I'm hoping that with the truth coming out, that people step up and say, no, kids, there's a whole darn life out there outside of your tablet, your phone, your social media, your TikTok, your this, your that, you know. We love them all, and they are for entertainment. They are not your
Yes.
life,
Yes. Everything in moderation.
right?
Anything can
Although,
become an addiction.
although I once heard that moderation is for monks.
Mm, well, we can all agree to disagree, right?
Right? It was. I'm just playing. I know. I'm silly. I'm kind of stuck on the Tartarian
Hmm.
um, ideology right now because thinking about in my own hometown of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin,
Hmm.
as we went up Catholic Hill to the left hand side, there was something that looked like a castle. And I always wanted to go investigate it.
Mhm.
And my mom was like, "Oh no, honey, don't go there." And I'm like, "Why?" And she said, "It was a place called a sanatorium. It's not a happy place to be." And I went,
Mhm.
"Okay," and I heeded her warning. Now thinking about it, I wish I would have, because I probably would have picked up on a lot of stuff and maybe helped a few people pass over.
I think it's better that you didn't, because you were young and you were not as trained as you are now, and
Mm,
they suffered horribly, and a lot of them
mm,
died in massive confusion and
yes.
anger, and they don't know who to be angry at except for anyone who is still alive, because they're not.
Yeah. And that anger is something that I wanted to alchemize because I could sense it. And I
Hmm.
would have been, I mean, it was like off in the distance, so I would have say, 500 yards away from the main road. But I could sense it.
Do you know why it was so strong?
Why?
Because it was righteous anger. They
Oh
were
yeah.
being told, forget what you know as reality, forget what you know as your history, and take this new narrative and tell everyone that's younger than you this is how it was. And anyone who didn't agree with that was thrown into the sanatorium. That was not meant to make you healthy, that was meant to make you compliant. That was not rehabilitation, that was torture.
And brainwashing.
Yeah.
If you survived, if you were allowed to survive, it was because you accepted their narrative.
You either submit or you forget or you die.
Yeah,
It's that
yeah.
simple. So their anger was righteous. They knew they were right. They weren't going to submit. That takes a lot of strength and a lot of will. That burns the image
Mm.
and the event into the energy of the area, even long after the spirit itself is gone.
And it makes total sense then that I would be able to pick that up.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been uh, different. I've always been unusual. One of the things that I, was tormented with by people was, "Oh, she's spooky," because I would look at them and make them tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
From a kid on, I knew bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I just, really? Nice try. There are a few people that can get away with it. Um,
Well, they were very practiced.
well, they are. They put a glamour on, and when you put a glamour on, to someone like me, I guess I'm too trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm working on so that I'm not quite as trusting. But I'll believe you until you prove me wrong.
Thank you. I will trust you until you give me a reason not to. That's my
Exactly.
motto. And
Exactly.
that's gotten me into a little trouble over the years.
But it's also saved people.
Yes.
So thank you.
And thank you.
Oh my goodness. So, how have the skies been?
Monsoon is, I don't know if the super El Nino is teasing us or warming up or working up to it, but for the last almost week, we've had the clouds come in round about the time we used to get a downpour every day years back when the monsoons were regular. We could
Okay.
like clockwork, about 1 o'clock every day. We'd all make sure our windows were rolled up and we'd get ready for the rains. It would last like 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then the air would be fresh and, we'd go about our day. It's coming in, it's swirling around, but but not really dumping anything yet, and then blowing out. We're hoping to get some rain by this weekend, but I've been watching the ants. They can usually tell you when the rains are coming. If they start pulling in dirt into the hole instead of food, then they know the rains are coming in and they're blocking up the holes so they don't get flooded. And I've got
Brilliant.
several colonies of ants in the yard that I keep an eye on, and they're blocking up their holes. They usually do that a couple days before it rains. It gives me a chance to button everything up at the house.
Thank you, ants.
Absolutely. Everything, you can learn from everything, even an ant.
Nature tells us if we have the ears to listen.
And the eyes to see.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm
Well,
going to post a video of my ravens so that I can show
I
you guys.
think I think even our unsighted friends can feel the rhythms of nature, can feel the echoes, you know?
Absolutely. That's they may look unguided to our perspective.
Could you say that again?
They may look like they are unsighted to our perspective, but every creature has the ability to sense its environment in some form or fashion,
Right.
even if they don't have eyes. Consider those children in the UK that learn to see through a blindfold. They're not using their eyes, and yet they can read and they can write and they can see through a blindfold.
That's amazing.
If humans can do it, other animals on this planet are naturally capable of it as well.
Well, and in those cases, it's people that have suffered either through illness or accident the fate of blindness.
They could be
I
taught the same way these children.
Exactly, and I went to Lake Geordie and his visor because I was watching last night Star Trek.
The little banana clip, it's so cute.
I'm such a nerd, but so I was thinking about how the senses will compensate.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, sometimes, and this is my philosophy only, but I feel like sometimes the universe, to get us to a certain place, will put certain obstacles in our way so that we slow down enough to recognize the lesson that we're supposed to learn.
Mm-hmm. I believe that too. And you know what I have?
Can't hear you.
Go ahead.
I can't hear you.
The universe has been throwing a message at me in so many different ways, a specific message over and over and over again. Books, TV, songs, just beating it into me. Don't run from your trauma. Go through your trauma, because once you overcome your trauma, you will gain what you will consider a superpower.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I love this because I was thinking about it. Fear, false evidence appearing real, right? You face it. You figure out what triggers you, right? So you can diffuse those triggers.
Yeah.
And then that false evidence appearing real makes it so that you face everything and rise. And when you do that, it changes that. It changes fear. And I'll go back to Dune. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that passes all things into obliteration. Face your fear. Allow it to pass over you and through you and see the fierce path. Where it is been, there will be nothing. Only you will remain. And if we do that, and if we practice positive affirmations, we'll see positive changes in our life. I've seen it in your life already.
Absolutely. And when we keep our vibrations high, we are no longer food for the lower vibrational psychic vampires.
Right.
We will be allowed to keep our energy and dissipate it at our will, not someone else's.
Right. No harnessing that energy. We're sending it out to the world. We're not letting anyone harness our energy.
That's right. Send it out with free will. It's not allowed to be taken anymore.
Right. Yeah. Wicked Trixie and False doesn't live in my world anymore.
Absolutely. And it has been such a blessing, the peace, the tranquility, the uplifting of everything and everyone around us, opportunities that suddenly appear, um, that were seemingly out of reach before. Someone just reaches down and says, there you go, let's do this. Something you've always wanted to do.
I've seen that happen and manifest in my own life.
Exactly.
I didn't know how. I'm not embarrassed by my circumstances. I'm proud of myself. Okay, so in my circumstance, my husband got sick because he couldn't work. We are on SSDI, and living on that is not an easy task. But I managed it, and I managed it for 3 whole years. And we're talking, it was really tight sometimes. But then my beautiful daughter-in-law said, "I'd love to have you closer. There are some really cute cottages, and oh, by the way, my mom lives there too. You want to come see me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." And then, oh, by the way, I'll help you move. You what? I've never had any help moving in my life. I mean, and it was blessing after blessing after blessing, and I couldn't even think of an obstacle, and it was already taken care of.
Yeah.
So when you get to that serendipitous part of life, it's so amazing. It is such a blessing not to be like this all the time, up and down, back and forth,
Because at
always.
some point, the universe doesn't know what you want when you're up and down. When you are
Right.
steady, high vibration, the universe says, oh, okay, that's what you want. I'll give it to you. Because that's what the universe does. If you're constantly negative, it says, oh, that's what you want. I'll give you negative.
Well, and that's just it. I am so firm about policing my own thoughts, policing my own words, even in how I speak to myself.
Absolutely.
Because how on earth can I be positive to other people if I'm not positive with myself? How can I love other people if I don't love or like me?
Absolutely.
So when we do the work, and sometimes it helps to have a friend point it out,
It does.
but when we do the work and we find out we are lovable and we are worthy, we shine that light, we hold that frequency, and other people find it. Do you
Yeah,
agree?
absolutely. Absolutely. I have found that people seem to be more drawn to me and they want to tell me their whole lives when I go out. A complete stranger tell me all of their problems and be so grateful because I sat there and listened and didn't judge. Because what
Yes.
did it cost me? It cost me 5 minutes and it made that person's day so much better. And, that could be the one thing that was good for them that day.
Right?
It cost me 5 minutes.
I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Um, if I feel like, okay, I'm in a bunch of chats, I'm not gonna deny it. I'm in a bunch of chats, and I feel like it's negative energy. I'll throw something positive in there.
Mm-hmm.
Today I threw in Doctor Who. I had well, Amy Pond was talking to Matt Smith and saying, "Are we Mr. Grumpy Pants today?"
Mm-hmm.
And and I meant it lovingly because everyone's got that right to be grumpy if they want to be.
Yeah.
But by acknowledging and validating and seeing and feeling that energy, I was able to alchemize it just by sending that little gif and saying, "Is everybody okay today?"
Yeah.
And then it was brought up that no, there is a shift in the energy, and we do need to alchemize it, and we need to be like, we need to take an energy shower every now and again, you
And we
know?
need to be aware of our own energy contamination. It is a thing. It
Yes.
is a thing. It's less of a thing for people who are out in nature so much like me, who walk around barefoot like me. Um, but for people who are in cities, towns with sidewalks and roads and no real nature, it builds up.
right?
Got
And the
hug a
fluorescent,
tree. You know, something as simple as that will clear your field.
right? The fluorescent light. It doesn't
Oh,
heal you, it drains you. The music
absolutely.
we listen to, it drains us sometimes.
Marilyn Manson, if anyone knows, he actually came out in an interview and admitted that he did some research and that the somatic frequencies in the album Saturnalia will cause a chemical change in your brain if you listen to it, and it's toxic. He began to research other frequencies, and it's a thing he didn't know about as an artist, and now he's kind of upset because he added to it.
And I did the opposite. When I heard about 432 Hertz and that it was a healing frequency, I was like, that's where I want my music tuned to.
That's right. That's one of the reasons that your music is my playlist.
Oh, thank you. It is on SoundCloud. So anyone
Mhm.
who wants to download the SoundCloud app for free, you can listen to my music for free.
Yeah.
Because I was told streaming is the trend of the future.
Well,
And it was. I
I can
mean,
see, yes, because you don't have to have anyone's permission. You don't have to gather a ridiculous amount of money. The equipment is something you've got in your pocket.
well, and
It's,
also, no one has a CD player anymore.
I do.
Well, a DVD player will be a CD player, but do you know a lot of people don't even have DVD players anymore?
I know. Everything is streaming.
I
Now,
know.
I've got my DVDs, I've got my DVD player. My CD player is actually in my alarm clock, my digital alarm clock. It's a radio too. Got my CDs. I've even got some VHS tapes, if you can believe that.
I believe it because I have a big great totem. I haven't gotten rid of them. I still have a TV I can play them on,
That's right. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
right?
We all
I
don't
think,
need all the nifty new stuff to just break down.
well, I think I'm saving it just to save it now to show the grandkids what we grew up with for technology.
I've got a head cleaner,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
two of them actually.
Um, there used to be, this really dates me. There used to be it almost looked like a lint roller,
Mm-hmm.
and it was wooden, and then on the top of it, it was black, almost like a velvet microfiber. And then
Mm-hmm.
a little drop of this cleaning fluid was how we cleaned our vinyl records.
Yes. Yes, I remember that. I've still got my vinyl records. I got 2 boxes full.
I know I have like an egg carton crate full of them. I kept them for the artwork
Mm-hmm.
because it's trippy. Because in when I was buying records, it would have been the late 70s all the way up
Oh
to the
yeah,
90s.
those are mm-hmm.
So I've got like the Boston album that is an upside down guitar and
Uh,
just like little things like that, and I just kept them.
I've got bread
The
in
album
storage.
brand,
Yeah.
yeah. If a picture paints 1,000 words, that one.
Mm-hmm. I've got Funny Bone,
Oh, fun.
all the old joke
Well,
songs.
mine would have been this just it's gonna age me, but I don't care. So Journey, Styx, Boston,
Yeah.
Rio Speedwagon, Pink Floyd,
Yep.
Moody Blues,
Got that too.
oh my goodness, just all of those beautiful, some of them incorporated like orchestral maneuvers in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
They, it was all beautiful music.
Well,
And
you
then,
hear more from vinyl than you do the other ways of recording. There's notes that you don't hear in the
right,
other ways. My turntable, I will never give that up.
right. And there's extra music. It sounds crazy, but when I was recording my album, there was extra music that you could not hear, but you could once it was recorded.
I think that's the energy frequencies, because think about how the recording is done on vinyl. It's vibrations. Frequencies are vibrations. The tech is probably picking up frequencies that we're not hearing until they are artificially projected.
I like that. Well, I have a friend that composes music, and I don't know if he intended to do this or not. I'm pretty sure he did, but he incorporates light language into his orchestral music, and you can catch it every now and again. It's just beautiful,
That's awesome.
right?
Have you
So,
heard crickets slowed down to
no, what is
you
it?
you need to look that up. It sounds like a beautiful orchestra chorus
Oh, I
slowed
love it.
down to the frequency of that for the humans to hear. It is, and it's all different. Each one is different, and they all sound like they are just a singing angelic chorus.
Yeah, that's where I
Now,
went.
imagine what our music might sound to those crickets
Right.
if they
Well,
could hear and emit more frequencies than we can.
and what is it tuned to? Because if it is a negative frequency, they're not going to like it. But if it's a positive frequency, like I'm thinking about the bells that used to chime. We live in a town where we still have a bell, and you can hear it, and it chimes, and the vibrations go out,
The
and it's
vibrations are supposed to be healing. That's why every town had one.
yeah.
It healed disease. It kept you healthy. It kept you energized.
I love living here. That's another reason that I love living here. Oh,
Hmm.
let me find out. I am exactly on the 45th parallel.
Wow.
Ley line much.
Well, it that makes sense. That makes sense that the home that you was meant for you is on the ley line, like mine.
Mhm.
That makes
Well,
sense.
we have talked about it, and
Mhm,
so many of my friends have the beautiful skies
mhm,
and feel the different energy because
mhm,
we are all connected on a ley line.
mhm. We need to hold the frequency. There is so much negative right now that our positivity needs to flow as far and as strong as possible, and we can only do that from a ley line.
Yeah.
It
Well,
makes
thank
sense.
you. Thank you, because we're already at 53 minutes. I do
Oh,
not know how time flies this fast. But
oh,
what else would you like to talk about? Is there any kind of message that you'd like to give the audience?
just try to slow down. Try to be in nature if you can. Watch the trees, watch the bugs, sit and watch the birds. Remember, there's a whole life out here besides your screens. And remember that all that is just programming anyway. How much do you really want programming in your brain versus your own thoughts and your own desires? We really need to sit down and take stock as to who we are as people and what is really important to us versus what we have been taught to feel is
Yes.
important. I saw a small clip that gave me a lot of hope for the future. It was a 14-year-old girl exclaiming that what does she need to go to school for? It's all lies anyway. Her priority is having babies and churning butter. And some people hear that and think, well, she just wants to be lazy and not work. No, she wants to stay at home, raise the next generation, not have a tablet or a television or a stranger or the government or whoever raise the generation. The queen needs to be in the castle. Someone needs to be in the castle, because when they took the queen out, the kids were fair game.
Well, exactly. And I grew up with a mom that worked outside of the house. And so we were raised by television.
I was lucky I had a love of books. So while my brother would be watching a movie or a television show, I would sit in my room and I would read. But there are a lot of kids who didn't do that. There's there's a very little love of reading anymore. And
I'd be lost without it. I don't know what I would have done if I wouldn't have been able to go outside away from my brother's sports noise because that's all that was on the television. As soon as sports on, he got to watch it. So
mhm,
I would go outside with my book. Didn't matter what kind of book. I was reading Beowulf and Grendel when I was
mhm,
in elementary school, so it didn't
yeah,
matter what kind of book,
that's
just
right.
something to take me away from what I felt and I still feel is that we didn't change. It's still Roman. The
Mhm.
chariots are NASCAR. The chariot races literally are NASCAR. And if you
Congress,
look
the
at,
Senate,
yes, and if you look at all the other sports, there's similarities. And I'm like,
bread and game.
okay, are we ever going to get into the Greco part of the Roman? Which would be more books, more knowledge. But that's just it. Did And there is a belief that 1,000 years was removed and we are not where we are in time, and that Roman society never fell, it just changed.
There's also a theory that you're right, we lost 1,000 years, but the Roman society was a cover for the worldwide Tartarian Empire, and that the ruins are not as old as we are taught that they are.
Yeah, yeah. Because prior to, I want to say 1803,
Something like that.
I, I think that's the right time frame. People were not traveling across continents as much. They were mostly in their own village, in their own town, in their own area, unless there was specific reason for it.
Hmm.
So it would be very easy to isolate and give a new narrative.
And think about the Cabbage Patch Kids. They were also given the new narrative.
Yeah.
How many, how many in the past couple generations could actually remember being Cabbage Patch Kids and not having
Mm.
parents, being assigned parents, being raised only long enough to go to work
Well, and
before
we've also had that conversation about clones
uh-huh.
and and how they don't know they're a clone. They can have children. They don't know that they're giving birth to it. It's just they don't know. It's
Hmm.
not that they are evil or negative. They are just clones.
And that's why I believe they need two societies kept separate, because some believe that the clones don't have souls.
Say that again. 'Cause it faded in and out.
That's why some believe that we need to have two separate societies kept separate, because they believe the clones do not have souls, that they were designed to be the worker class.
Do you think Source would give humanity life or even the ability to clone life without a soul?
No,
I don't
no,
either.
no. But there are those who believe that they are all powerful and could control such a side effect.
Ah,
They can't, but they think they can. So it's
wow.
really irrelevant.
Well, let's leave on a happy note, and let's find something that just a little happy to talk about. Um, I have something happening.
Oh, wind. Whoa, whoa. Ah!
I see that. Oh my goodness. That was cool. That was way cool.
I'm glad it didn't take the phone. Okay, let's end on a windy note.
A windy note. I just wanted to share with everybody that my wonderful son has completed his training and he's back home for a bit and then he's off to hither, thither, and yon for what he's in is even though he joined at 41, he is in the U.S. Air Guard. So they've had him off in training in Texas, and now he gets to be home, and we get to see him on Sunday and have a welcome home party.
Yay!
Yeah,
Tell him welcome
so
home. Give him a big hug for me.
oh, thank you so much. Anything else you'd like to share?
Just keep your light and your vibrations high, and everything will be okay. Have faith.
Agree 100%. What a great way to end. Thank you again for joining us. Never forget that you are amazing. You are loved. Be well, be safe out there. We'll see you on the next show.